Prithiviraj for me now is the default Kerala police representative. Ellavarkum namaskaram, ente pere Ashmita, ente channelilek swagatam. And yes, I finally watched Mumbai Police, the much requested film. And after watching, I understand that why there was so much hype. The hype is real, guys. The hype is real. And yes, I don't want to delay this any further. I want to jump right into the detailed discussion. And yes, there are going to be full-blown spoilers. This is actually one of the most unique plots that I have seen in an investigative thriller. We have Anthony, who is in charge of solving a murder case of a fellow policeman, Aryan Jacob. And the movie starts with the revelation that Anthony has solved the case and has found who the murderer is. When he is about to reveal the name of the culprit to another fellow policeman, Farhan, he suddenly meets with an accident. Now, unfortunately, due to this accident, he suffers partial memory loss, and that's where the real thrill of this investigative thriller starts. He doesn't know who are his friends, who are his enemies, and how he had solved the case. And therefore, he needs to retrace back his steps to solve this mystery again. No one except his fellow policeman and his very close friend Farhan and his doctor knows about his memory loss. It is really interesting that a police officer has to resolve a case from scratch without letting his department know that he doesn't remember anything. I was really impressed with this concept, and for a movie that released in 2013, I can see how mind-blowing and refreshing this entire plot point would have been for the audience. The story is written by Sanjay and Bobby, and for the large part of the film, the writing really impressed me, though in a couple of places it did not sit well with me. Okay, talking about the good things first. Number one, the climax. The last 20 minutes of the film is amazing because when the killer gets revealed, it's really something that the audience wouldn't have anticipated. Okay, but in all honesty, while watching the film, I did anticipate that maybe Prithiviraj is the killer. I don't know why my mind made that guess. Maybe because I think I was getting reminded of Christopher Nolan's film Memento. I remember while watching Memento for the first time when the killer gets revealed, my mind was blown. I mean, the shock value was so high at that point of time. So I thought while watching Mumbai Police that it could take that turn where the protagonist himself is the culprit. But why Anthony did it? It was something that I definitely did not anticipate. So props to the writers for that. Second is the portrayal of the main protagonist as a homosexual. If this movie had released today, I think it would have gotten a lot of flack considering how Anthony's boyfriend was convincing him that his life will get ruined if Anthony's sexuality comes out. There is a whole sequence where Anthony's boyfriend is screaming at the top of his voice where he says that how everybody's life is going to get ruined if Anthony's sexuality is revealed to the public. I think because of that particular scene, a lot of audiences would have deemed it homophobic. But let's not forget that this was 2013 and realistically speaking, this is probably a very believable scenario. Even today, people find it difficult to come out confidently with their sexuality. So considering that this plot point even got included, I think it was a huge deal back then, but certainly a step towards the right direction. Having said that, there is a dialogue exchange between Aryan and Anthony where Aryan tells him that, you know what, Anthony, you are trying to behave as if you are a rowdy person, you try to show your manliness, and it's because you are actually in reality trying to hide your weakness. I personally don't think those were the right choice of words, or maybe it's a mistake in the subtitles. That could also be a possibility. Do let me know. But being homosexual is not a weakness. So maybe the dialogue could have been that, Anthony, you are being this rowdy and, showing off your manliness in such a manner, maybe because you do not want people to find out the real you. Maybe that would have been a better way to put it. Just my thought. Third, I think that Prithiviraj's character sketch written was extremely interesting because in one movie only we get to see two personalities of him. I really like this approach by the writers because it gave Prithiviraj also a huge range of emotions to show. Now, one of the plot points which I found was completely unnecessary was Roy's angle. Literally, if I remove him from the storyline, nothing changes. It seems that he was only included so that the writers can have an excuse to include the parking lot fight scene and the chase sequence. I think I could have absolutely done without an unnecessary fight scene and a chase sequence which does not add up to the plot overall. Just because it's a thriller movie, it was really not mandatory to include it. And when it doesn't add to the overall plot point, then it's just to increase the watch time. Now, one can argue that Anthony wanted to plant multiple suspects so that no one doubts him, but I think having Captain Srinivas as the only prime suspect also would have been good enough. At least as an audience, I feel that Captain Srinivas had a good enough motive to commit a murder. Another scene which was so poorly written was the interaction between the female doctor and Anthony. Now, because Anthony suffers partial memory loss, I was completely expecting a scene that there would be a doctor explaining things and giving more context to the audience. But that lady doctor was so over dramatic. When Anthony solves the Sudoku and she dramatically says that, "What are you waiting for? Go do your job." I honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed out loud and I was thinking to myself that this poor chap does not have any memory. He's probably hell confused, doesn't know what to do. And you as a doctor should be empathizing more with him, and you are literally ordering this guy. I don't know. I just felt honestly that it was a really poorly written scene. Now, when it comes to direction, I really liked how Roshan Andrews has treated this film overall. The fact that he did not leave any clues for the audience to even make a guess that who could be the killer, I really liked that. Except in my case, of course, because I was thinking about another film, I made that guess. But overall, in terms of this movie alone, I think it was very well directed. As a director, he could have taken a decision to not include Roy's character at all, but that's neither here nor there. Also, I think that the treatment of couple of scenes were overly dramatic by the director. Like I gave you the example of the doctor-patient interaction. There was one more scene where a senior police officer comes in and there is this entire situation created and he recites the police oath. That scene technically is supposed to give you goosebumps, but it just falls flat. Overall, I would say it is a well-directed film because the entire movie kept me hooked, it kept me engaged as an audience, and I was interested till the end. The cinematography, in one single word, I can say is stylish. There are a lot of amazing and interesting camera angles that are used, and you know, the camera doesn't stay still. It is just moving here and there. Even if two people are talking, the camera is panning to different angles, which I thought was interesting. The editing is done by one of my favorite editors and directors, Mahesh Narayanan. Now, this particular movie follows a non-linear format, and specifically in a non-linear format narration, it is very important that the jump between past and present is smooth so that it doesn't interrupt the flow of the narration. And I think overall for this movie, it has been executed really well. Okay, no offense to Gopi Sundar, but I hated the BGM of this movie. I'm gonna just say it flat out. The BGM was so dramatic and so loud, it was not necessary at all as per my opinion. This is the kind of BGM that you use for a movie like Singham, where Ajay Devgan is dramatically saying Atta Maji Satakli, then you use this BGM. But for a movie like Mumbai Police, which was very grounded and rooted, I don't think it was necessary at all. It could have been more subtle. Now, coming to the performances, this is out and out Prithiviraj's film. He's the best performer amongst all. Jayasuriya and Rahman did a fairly decent job, though overall as characters, they didn't have much layers to them or much depth to them. But as actors, I think the execution done was quite fair. Even for Mukundan, who plays the role of Captain Srinivas, he has been shown as an out and out negative character. So the character sketch is pretty linear, but his acting is good. Now, Prithiviraj, my de facto Kerala police representative, he has done a really good job. You know, him being confused and trying to figure out how to solve this case, him being on guard and, you know, thinking what to say, what not to say. I think all those emotions were just delivered very well. I also liked the portrayal of his ruthless side, where he did not give two hoots about what people used to think about him. Though he had his own reasons for behaving that way, we know that he was not a bad person. But these two distinct personas, I think this was a very good decision that the character was written like this and Prithiviraj could show his range of acting. I would personally recommend this movie to people for the sheer novelty of the concept that has been put forth in front of the audience. I don't think even today a lot of writers, directors or actors would even execute this kind of movie, but the fact that this was done in 2013 already, the makers have my full respect. So yes, those were my thoughts on the 2013 Malayalam film Mumbai Police. Yes, finally tick that one off from my watch list. I'm very happy, and yep, I hope you enjoyed this review and have come till the end of the video, and I will see you soon on my next video, guys. Bye bye.